The Power of Silence, Unlocking Creativity Through Quiet Reflection, written and published by Sonic Digest. There is a certain kind of power in silence that many overlook, a quiet force that holds the potential to transform the way we experience our lives. It is easy to underestimate the simple act of stillness, especially in a world that glorifies noise, movement, and constant activity. Yet, within the silence lies a richness, a profound depth of insight that can only be uncovered when we step away from the distractions and let the quiet settle in. It is here, in the stillness, that clarity emerges, where creativity finds its roots, and where the deepest connections to ourselves and the world around us are made. Imagine a life not governed by the frantic pace of daily routines, but by moments that allow you to pause, reflect, and listen to the subtle currents of thought and emotion that often go unnoticed. What would happen if we gave ourselves the gift of silence, not as a retreat from life, but as a tool to engage with it more deeply? Silence, when embraced intentionally, becomes more than just the absence of sound. It becomes the backdrop against which our most meaningful thoughts, ideas, and transformations are born. This journey is about rediscovering the strength found in moments of quiet, about tapping into the wellspring of creativity and insight that is always within reach, waiting to be unleashed. In a world where everything is vying for our attention, the most revolutionary act we can commit is to embrace silence, not as a void to be filled, but as a space to be fully experienced. Through silence, we connect more authentically with our innermost desires and untapped potential. We find solutions to problems we didn't even realize we had, and we unlock the doors to a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. The practice of inviting more silence into our lives isn't about withdrawing from the world, but about redefining our relationship with it. It is about learning to live with intention, to listen to the whispers of our inner selves, and to allow our thoughts to flow freely without the noise of external expectations. In doing so, we create the conditions for true creativity to flourish. Ideas that are not merely reactions to the chaos around us, but expressions of our deepest, most authentic selves. This exploration is not just for those seeking solitude, but for anyone who feels the weight of the world pressing in and wishes to find a way to rise above it. It is for those who crave the space to think, reflect, and create without the constant pressure to perform. It is for those who recognize that in the quiet there is room for everything to grow. Chapter 1. The Hidden Force. Silence has a transformative power that many overlook in the modern world's constant hum of noise. In a society that thrives on activity, communication, and distraction, silence is often perceived as an absence, a void to be filled. Yet, within this quiet is a profound strength, an invisible force that quietly shapes the creative process. It is in the spaces between thoughts, the pauses before action, and the moments of stillness that true inspiration often arises. When we step into silence, we allow the mind to settle, like dust in water slowly finding its place. In these moments of calm, the mental chatter fades, revealing a deeper connection to our inner selves. It is here, in this unspoken zone, that we begin to hear the faint whispers of our own creativity. Without the clutter of external stimulation, our minds are free to wander, to explore uncharted territory, and to weave together ideas that once seemed unrelated. In silence, the barriers built by routine and the noise of everyday life are dismantled. The mind is no longer bombarded with competing thoughts and the pressure to act quickly. It finds room to think deeply, to make connections, and to recognize patterns that may have been previously unnoticed. When we pause, we give our brains the time it needs to process information in a more meaningful way. This mental space nurtures reflection, contemplation, and the synthesis of new ideas. This quiet space is not empty, but fertile. It allows room for imagination to bloom. The great ideas we often attribute to moments of sudden insight don't emerge from a void. They arise from a mind that has had the opportunity to settle, to sift through experiences, and to connect dots in unexpected ways. Innovation does not thrive in haste. It thrives in the deliberate pause, where the mind can expand and evolve. Silence offers us the rare opportunity to tune into our deeper thinking without the interference of outside pressures. It is often in the silence that we learn to hear the true nature of our thoughts and feelings. In the quiet, the mind sheds its distractions and becomes a channel through which creativity flows freely. This is not about forcing inspiration to appear, but rather about creating the conditions in which it can emerge naturally. The more we make space for silence, the more we allow our creativity to blossom, unconstrained by the rigid expectations of the world around us. Silence is also a powerful tool for self-discovery. It allows us to connect with our instincts, the quiet voice within that guides us when we're unsure of our next step. It's in those still moments that we access the raw materials of our inner world, the desires, fears, and aspirations that fuel our creative work. These elements, often buried beneath layers of noise and distraction, come to the surface when we give ourselves permission to simply be. In the process of creative work, silence serves as both the background and the foundation. It is in the moments of quiet reflection that ideas form and take shape, ready to be expressed in tangible ways. It provides the necessary contrast to the noise of the external world, allowing us to distinguish our true, authentic voice from the clamor of societal expectations. Creativity thrives on the freedom to explore, to make mistakes, and to rethink ideas. Silence nurtures this freedom, offering a space where the mind can roam without the pressure of performance. In silence, we are no longer constrained by the judgments of others or the demands of the world. We are simply allowed to think, to imagine, and to create. It is within this quiet sanctuary that true innovation takes root. In this fast-paced, noisy world, it is easy to overlook the hidden force of silence. Yet, those who learn to harness its power are able to tap into a wellspring of creativity that others may never access. By creating moments of stillness and solitude, we unlock the potential to think more clearly, connect with our deeper selves, and give birth to new ideas. Silence, often dismissed as a mere absence, is in fact the very force that allows creativity to emerge and flourish. Chapter 2. Embracing Stillness. In the quiet moments, when the world slows down, there exists a rare opportunity for profound clarity. Stillness is not simply the absence of sound or movement. It is the state where the mind, untethered from the constant noise and distractions, becomes fully aware of its own rhythm. It is in this state of quiet reflection that true insight emerges. To embrace stillness is to invite a deeper connection to our thoughts, to the present moment, and ultimately, to the source of our creativity. Stillness offers us a sanctuary from the relentless pace of modern life. In a world dominated by busyness, where every second is filled with action or input, the art of pausing becomes a radical act of self-care and self-awareness. When we allow ourselves the grace to simply be, without the pressure to act, to respond, or to be constantly engaged, we create a space where our inner wisdom can surface. In that space, we are no longer tethered to the external demands that constantly vie for our attention. We reclaim control over our own minds, steering away from external influences and towards internal clarity. The act of sitting with silence is a practice in patience. In a culture that values productivity above all else, sitting quietly can initially feel uncomfortable or unproductive. We are conditioned to think that silence is wasted time. Yet, in truth, It is within these moments of stillness that our best ideas are often conceived, the seeds of innovation planted. Just as a seed requires time in the soil to grow, so too does the mind need quiet time to nurture the insights and inspirations that will eventually sprout into creative expressions. The mind, when left in silence, does not simply idle, it organizes, reflects, and processes. In these moments, we access the deeper layers of our subconscious where complex problems may find their solutions. It is in the stillness that ideas, long buried beneath the surface, come into view, untangled and clarified. This is not a conscious effort, but rather an organic unfolding that occurs when we remove the noise that clouds our thinking. Sitting with silence is also an invitation to listen to ourselves and to the world around us. In the absence of external stimuli, we become acutely aware of the inner dialogue that constantly plays in our minds. It is here that we begin to notice the subtle shifts in our emotions, the quiet stirrings of our desires, and the deeper motivations that drive our actions. Without the external noise drowning them out, these inner voices become louder, clearer, and more attuned to what we truly need. The clarity that comes from this type of listening is not just about hearing our own thoughts, but understanding them on a deeper level, gaining insights that were previously hidden beneath the surface. In the stillness, we are also able to observe the world from a different perspective. The constant motion of daily life can often cloud our judgment, making it difficult to see things for what they truly are. But in quiet reflection, we are able to detach from the immediate pressures of the moment and view situations with fresh eyes. Problems become less daunting when approached from a place of calmness, and solutions appear more readily when we give ourselves the space to consider them fully. Stillness acts as a lens that sharpens our focus, bringing clarity to the fog of confusion that often surrounds us. This practice of embracing stillness is not a passive act. It requires a willingness to be present without the impulse to fill every moment with activity. To truly sit with silence means resisting the temptation to check our phones, to entertain our thoughts with distractions, or to rush into the next task. It is in the quiet space between thoughts, in the stillness between breaths, that the deepest creativity is often born. When we allow ourselves the freedom to be without doing, we tap into the limitless well of inspiration that lies within. By cultivating stillness, we begin to quiet the mind's endless chatter, making room for deeper insights. This inner peace is not a fleeting state, but a powerful tool that can be accessed at any moment. When we learn to embrace stillness, we train ourselves to find clarity and insight not only in the quiet moments, but in the noise and chaos of everyday life. The stillness we cultivate within becomes a refuge we can return to, a touchstone that helps us navigate the world with a clearer, more focused perspective. Stillness, in its purest form, is not about seeking silence for the sake of peace, but rather using it as a doorway to creativity, understanding, and personal growth. It is in these moments of quiet contemplation that we are able to hear the voice of inspiration clearly, untainted by the noise that surrounds us. When we make space for stillness, we allow our creative potential to unfold naturally, without force or pressure. The art of sitting with silence is not a passive act, but a powerful practice that fosters deep clarity, insight, and a deeper connection to ourselves. Chapter 3. The Unspoken Connection. In the quiet moments of life, when the noise fades away, we tap into a deeper current of connection, one that reaches beyond words and actions. Silence, often dismissed as an absence of sound, holds within it the key to unlocking profound relationships with ourselves, our emotions, and the world around us. It is in these moments of stillness that we can hear the unspoken messages of our inner thoughts, connect with the depth of our feelings, and understand our place within the vast web of existence. When the mind is quiet, it becomes a mirror to our true selves. In the absence of external chatter, we gain access to the hidden layers of our thoughts and desires. Without the distractions of the outside world, the subconscious mind can rise to the surface, revealing the deeper motivations that drive us. This is where our true essence lives, untouched by societal expectations or the noise of day-to-day life. Silence offers a sacred space for introspection, where we can listen to what lies beneath the surface and understand who we truly are, beyond the roles and identities we wear. Through this silence, we also begin to understand the language of our emotions. In the rush of everyday life, we often bury our feelings under layers of activity or distraction, but in the stillness, we are forced to confront the emotions that have been lingering beneath the surface. The clarity brought by silence allows us to recognize and fully experience our emotions, rather than avoiding or suppressing them. Emotions are not just fleeting sensations, they are the language of our inner world, guiding us toward what truly matters. Silence grants us the space to feel, understand, and process these emotions with honesty and acceptance, without the influence of judgment or external pressures. Beyond ourselves, silence also strengthens our connection to others and to the world around us. In a world where communication is often reduced to words, actions, and fleeting interactions, the power of unspoken connection is often overlooked. Yet, the deepest connections are often those that transcend language. Silence allows us to listen deeply, not just to words, but to the unspoken cues and subtle nuances of the people and environment around us. The ability to sit in silence with someone without the need for constant conversation fosters a sense of presence and understanding that goes beyond verbal communication. It is in these moments of shared quiet that true empathy is born, as we attune ourselves to the feelings and thoughts of others, not through words, but through shared awareness. The same principle applies to our relationship with the world itself. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, it is easy to forget the interconnectedness we share with the natural world. Yet, silence provides the opportunity to reconnect with the environment in a deeper, more meaningful way. When we take the time to sit in quiet reflection, we become more attuned to the subtle rhythms of nature, the rustling of leaves, the whisper of the wind, the distant call of birds. These sounds, often drowned out by the noise of daily life, become a profound reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. In silence, we reconnect with the larger world around us, experiencing a sense of unity and belonging that can be easily overlooked. This unspoken connection extends to the very fabric of existence. In moments of quiet, we can feel the pulse of life around us, the shared energy that binds all beings together. Silence allows us to sense the underlying patterns and flows of the universe, helping us recognize our place within it. It is in these moments that we transcend our individual concerns and feel a deep, unspoken connection to the collective consciousness. The stillness invites us to step outside of ourselves and experience the vastness of existence, reminding us that we are not isolated, but part of something much greater. Silence, then, is not just the absence of sound, it is the presence of awareness. It is through silence that we cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves, our emotions, and our relationship to the world. It is in the unspoken spaces that we connect with the truth that words often fail to express. By embracing silence, we open ourselves to a deeper, more authentic connection with the world around us. A connection that goes beyond the limitations of language and taps into the essence of what it means to be truly present. Chapter 4. A Space for Imagination. Imagination thrives in the absence of distraction, where the mind is free to wander, explore, and create. The quiet moments in life, often dismissed as mere pauses between activity, are in fact fertile grounds for the seeds of new ideas, inspiration, and groundbreaking thoughts. It is in these times of stillness that our minds can untangle complexities, synthesize disparate ideas, and cultivate new visions of what is possible. These moments are not passive, they are powerful, dynamic, and essential for the birth of creativity. When the mind is uncluttered by noise and constant stimulation, it can enter a state of flow where inspiration arises naturally. This mental space allows for free association, where one thought leads to another, and seemingly unrelated ideas can come together to form something entirely new. It is within this quietude that our minds are able to break free from the constraints of routine thinking and tap into deeper layers of creativity. In stillness, we are not bound by the limitations of our usual thought patterns, but instead encouraged to explore new possibilities that would otherwise remain hidden. This creative space is not one that can be forced or hurried. Just as a seed requires time to take root and grow, ideas need space to develop and evolve. In a world that rewards speed and productivity, taking time to simply be still can feel counterintuitive. Yet it is in these moments of calm that our most innovative thoughts are nurtured. Rather than struggling to force creativity into being, stillness provides the room for it to emerge organically, allowing ideas to form at their own pace and on their own terms. The quiet moments we spend in reflection are often when our subconscious mind becomes most active, processing information, making connections, and sparking new insights. When we step away from the noise of the world, we create an environment where our internal dialogue can flourish. We become more attuned to the whispers of inspiration that might otherwise go unnoticed. In this state, the creative process is not just about generating new ideas, but about allowing the mind to explore, question, and make sense of the world in a way that is deeply personal and authentic. Moreover, quiet moments provide the space for us to explore the full spectrum of our emotions, experiences, and perspectives. Creativity is not only about intellectual insight, but also about emotional resonance. When we allow ourselves the time to feel, to reflect, and to listen without the constant pressure to perform, our emotional depth becomes a wellspring of inspiration. Our experiences, both joyous and painful, contribute to the richness of our creative output, allowing us to approach problems and projects from a place of true understanding. In silence, we are also free to play with ideas without the constraints of judgment or expectation. The pressure to produce something valuable can often stifle creativity, but in quiet moments, there is no expectation to produce anything at all. We are given the freedom to explore ideas simply for the sake of exploration. This absence of judgment is what allows imagination to flourish. Without the fear of failure or the need for immediate results, our minds are free to dream, experiment, and innovate in ways that feel natural and unrestricted. As we embrace the quiet, we begin to see the world differently. The constant hum of activity fades into the background, and we become more attuned to the small, often overlooked details that spark new ideas. Whether it's the texture of a passing cloud, the quiet rustle of leaves in the wind, or the subtle patterns of light and shadow, the world around us becomes a rich tapestry of inspiration. In stillness, we gain the ability to notice what we may have otherwise missed, the nuances, the possibilities, and the hidden beauty that lies in every moment. Creativity is not a result of constant activity or external stimulation, but of giving the mind space to breathe, to wander, and to connect dots that may not have been visible before. It is in these quiet moments that our most original ideas come to life, unfettered by the noise and demands of daily life. Silence offers a sanctuary where imagination can be allowed to run wild, unfettered by the constraints of time or the need for immediate results. In this space, we are free to dream, to question, to innovate, and to bring into being ideas that may change the course of our lives or the world around us. The quiet provides more than just a break from noise. It offers an opportunity to tune into the deeper rhythms of our creativity. It is in the stillness that we rediscover the joy of thinking without limits, of allowing the imagination to unfold in its own time and manner. It is in these moments of solitude that we give ourselves the permission to think differently, to dream beyond the ordinary, and to envision new possibilities. The silence does not limit us. It expands our potential, allowing the mind to move beyond the known and into the realm of infinite creative potential. Chapter 5. The Quiet Mind. In a world flooded with distractions and constant stimuli, the true power of the mind can only be unlocked when it is given the opportunity to settle into a state of stillness. When the noise of the world subsides, the mind is no longer caught in the endless cycle of thoughts, worries, and external pressures. It becomes a vast, open space, a canvas on which clarity and creativity can be painted with ease. In this quiet, the mind finds its natural rhythm, free from the clutter that so often clouds judgment and stifles innovation. The incessant hum of daily life creates a backdrop of mental noise that drowns out our inner voice. Our thoughts become fragmented, racing from one idea to the next without ever fully forming or maturing. In this state of mental clutter, it becomes increasingly difficult to think deeply, to problem-solve effectively, or to experience creative breakthroughs. However, when we consciously quiet our minds, we create the conditions necessary for deeper thought and more profound insights. Without the constant barrage of distractions, the mind is free to make connections that were previously hidden, to see patterns that might have otherwise been overlooked. The act of reducing mental noise is not about forcing thoughts into silence or suppressing the natural flow of the mind. Rather, it is about creating an environment in which the mind can operate at its full potential. This mental stillness allows us to let go of unnecessary distractions, clearing the way for focused, intentional thought. It is in this space that the mind can truly engage with the present moment, observing, reflecting, and creating with a clarity that is otherwise inaccessible. When the mind quiets, it no longer feels the need to grasp at every fleeting thought or piece of information. The constant chatter of the mind, reacting to external events, analyzing every detail, worrying about future possibilities, diminishes, leaving space for true mental clarity. In this clarity, we are able to approach challenges with a fresh perspective, unclouded by preconceived notions or irrelevant concerns. The answers we seek often appear naturally, as the mind is no longer bogged down by the weight of endless distractions. This quiet mind is the foundation of creativity. It is not in the constant pursuit of new ideas or the rush to find solutions that we experience our most innovative thoughts. Rather, it is in the moments of calm, when the mind is unburdened by noise, that creativity is given the freedom to emerge. When we stop forcing creativity and allow the mind to settle, inspiration arises with effortless grace. The quiet mind becomes a fertile ground for new ideas to take root, for novel connections to be made, and for innovative solutions to surface. The mind becomes a wellspring of insight, no longer hindered by the limitations of stress, busyness, or constant stimulation. In silence, the mind is also able to tap into deeper levels of intuition. Often, our intuition speaks to us in subtle ways, through feelings, sensations, and gut reactions. However, when the mind is overwhelmed with noise, these intuitive nudges can be easily ignored or overlooked. Quieting the mind creates the space for these subtle messages to be heard. When we listen, we begin to recognize the wisdom that lies within, guiding us towards choices that are aligned with our deeper purpose and values. In this way, the quiet mind becomes not only a source of clarity, but also a powerful tool for decision-making and personal growth. The quiet mind also enhances our ability to focus and concentrate. In a world filled with constant interruptions, it is becoming increasingly difficult to maintain sustained attention on a single task. However, when we cultivate the ability to quiet our minds, we can direct our focus with greater precision and intention. Whether we are working on a creative project, solving a complex problem, or simply engaging in a moment of deep reflection, the quiet mind allows us to immerse ourselves fully in the task at hand. This deep focus leads to a higher quality of work and greater productivity, as our attention is no longer fragmented by external or internal distractions. In addition to enhancing creativity, focus, and intuition, the quiet mind has profound effects on our overall well-being. Mental stillness is not just a tool for achieving creative breakthroughs. It is a practice that promotes mental health and emotional balance. When we quiet the mind, we create a space for peace and tranquility to enter. This peace extends beyond mere relaxation. It is a state of being in which we are fully present, free from the worry and anxiety that often cloud our emotional landscape. In this state, we are better able to process our emotions, manage stress, and cultivate a sense of calm and resilience in the face of life's challenges. The quiet mind is also a gateway to a deeper connection with the world around us. When we are constantly caught in the noise of our thoughts, we become disconnected from the present moment and the richness of our surroundings. In contrast, when the mind is still, we are able to experience the world with greater clarity and appreciation. We begin to notice the subtle beauty in everyday moments, the texture of a passing breeze, the sounds of nature, the intricate patterns in our environment. This heightened awareness allows us to engage more deeply with life, experiencing it with greater presence and meaning. By intentionally quieting the mind, we create the conditions for profound mental clarity, creative breakthroughs, and a deeper connection to ourselves and the world. The quiet mind is not a passive state, but an active and dynamic one, where the mind can work at its fullest potential, free from the clutter and distractions that so often hold it back. In this space of stillness, we tap into the infinite possibilities of the present moment, allowing clarity, creativity, and insight to flourish naturally and effortlessly. Chapter 6. Silence as a creative tool. Creativity thrives in a space unburdened by noise. It is easy to believe that our best ideas will come to us in the middle of a brainstorming session or while actively working on a problem, but the most profound insights often arise when we are least expecting them. By intentionally carving out moments of silence in our daily routines, we can invite creativity to emerge naturally, offering us new perspectives and innovative solutions without the pressure of constant activity. One of the simplest, yet most powerful ways to integrate silence into daily life is through the practice of stillness. Many of us live in a state of constant motion, from early mornings filled with tasks to evenings packed with commitments. It is in these moments of ceaseless activity that the mind becomes overrun with noise, leaving little room for original thought. To counter this, it is essential to create intentional pauses throughout the day, brief moments where we step away from distractions and give ourselves permission to be still. This could be as simple as sitting quietly for a few minutes with a cup of tea, taking a walk without the distraction of a phone, or simply sitting in silence during a break. These quiet interludes allow the mind to reset. Rather than forcing ourselves to think harder or faster, we allow the thoughts to slow down, giving space for new ideas to emerge. It is in these brief moments of silence that creativity finds its fertile ground. Ideas that once seemed disconnected or impossible to approach suddenly appear in sharp focus, clear and actionable. In addition to creating spaces for stillness, we can integrate silence by engaging in activities that naturally promote mindfulness and concentration. One such activity is journaling. Writing without the expectation of creating a finished product or having all the answers allows the mind to wander freely. The act of writing becomes a form of meditation, moving from one thought to the next, not in haste but with a sense of curiosity. In these quiet moments of reflection, we are often surprised by the insights that come to the surface. The simple practice of putting pen to paper without pressure creates a calm environment in which new connections are made and fresh perspectives emerge. Another effective tool for cultivating silence in daily life is the practice of mindful listening. In conversations, it's easy to fall into the rhythm of talking over others or filling the space with words to avoid awkward pauses. But silence in communication is powerful. By listening intently and allowing others to speak without interruption, we invite space for deeper understanding and clarity. This openness to silence not only helps us connect more profoundly with those around us, but also enhances our ability to reflect on our own thoughts. In those moments when we are simply listening, we create an internal space where our creative thoughts can be honed and refined. Silence can also be incorporated into the work environment to encourage fresh perspectives on complex problems. Often, we find ourselves overwhelmed by the noise of emails, meetings, and constant deadlines. In these high-pressure environments, creativity can feel stifled, and solutions to problems remain elusive. By introducing moments of intentional silence into our workday, whether through a silent break, an afternoon walk, or designated quiet hours, we can re-energize our minds. These periods allow us to step back and return to our work with a fresh outlook, able to see things we may have missed before. Silence creates a mental space for deep thinking, allowing for breakthroughs that were once beyond reach. Sometimes the simplest practice of disconnecting from technology can be the most effective way to invite creativity through silence. In a world where we are constantly plugged in, checking notifications, responding to messages, scrolling through social media, it becomes increasingly difficult to hear our inner voice, let alone hear the subtle stirrings of creativity. Setting boundaries with technology, even for short periods of time, can allow the mind to unwind and regain its focus. This disconnection can be as simple as setting aside time in the evening where you turn off your phone, or perhaps leaving your devices in another room during moments of deep work. By allowing ourselves to embrace silence without the constant pull of external distractions, we open ourselves up to greater mental clarity. In addition, incorporating silence into creative workspaces can help establish an environment that fosters innovation. Whether it's a quiet room for brainstorming or simply the act of working without background music or noise, a silent workspace promotes deeper concentration. Without the overstimulation of background chatter or music, the mind has the opportunity to delve deeper into the task at hand. The physical environment around us often shapes our mental state, so creating a space where silence is the norm can lead to more focused and creative work. This could involve decluttering the workspace, reducing visual distractions, or ensuring that moments of quiet are integrated into your routine throughout the day. Silence also serves as a tool for reflection, which is essential to creative growth. After completing a project or working through a challenging problem, silence allows us to step back and evaluate our work without judgment. This reflective silence provides a clear perspective, helping us to see where we succeeded and where we can improve. By approaching our work with a sense of detachment, we allow ourselves to view it from different angles. This reflective process sharpens our problem-solving abilities and enhances our capacity for innovation. Silence offers a sacred space for self-assessment, allowing us to grow and evolve creatively. The power of silence is not in the absence of sound, but in the space it creates. It is in these moments of quiet, when we disconnect from the noise and rush of life, that we find the clarity and creative energy to tackle problems with fresh eyes and a sharper mind. Silence does not force creativity. It invites it. By creating spaces in our daily routines for stillness, we unlock the potential for new perspectives, innovative solutions, and transformative breakthroughs. In silence, the mind can breathe, reflect, and expand, allowing creativity to flow naturally and abundantly. Chapter 7. Creating from Within. The act of creation begins in the stillness of the mind, where the external world fades into the background, and an inner world of ideas, dreams, and possibilities takes center stage. This inner silence, often overlooked in the rush of daily life, holds the key to unlocking a wellspring of creativity that can be expressed in countless forms. Whether it's in the strokes of a brush on canvas, the words crafted into a novel, or the solutions devised to address complex problems, all creative expression stems from a deep inner space of calm and clarity. When we experience moments of inner silence, we move beyond the noise of the world and connect directly with our authentic selves. In this state of quiet, we are able to listen to the whispers of our deepest thoughts, intuitions, and desires. These are the sources of creative energy, raw, unfiltered, and uninhibited. Art, innovation, and all forms of creation spring from this space because it is here that we are able to access the most genuine expressions of who we are, unclouded by the distractions and judgments of the outside world. Artistic expression, in its many forms, is perhaps one of the clearest examples of how inner silence gives rise to outward creativity. Great artists, musicians, writers, and performers often speak of finding their most inspired work in moments of profound quiet. When artists immerse themselves in silence, they step away from external pressures and expectations, allowing their unique voice to emerge without interference. The silence allows them to truly hear their inner thoughts and visions, and then translate them into tangible forms that others can experience. This process of creation is not always immediate or obvious. It requires patience, as silence often reveals itself gradually. In the absence of noise, the mind is free to wander and make connections between seemingly unrelated ideas. This non-linear thinking, sparked by quiet moments, often leads to breakthroughs and innovative solutions. The very act of creating from within requires an openness to the unknown, to things not yet seen or understood. It is in the silence of contemplation that the mind can stretch beyond its normal boundaries, tapping into an infinite potential for new ideas and concepts. In the world of innovation, this relationship between inner silence and outward creation is equally profound. The greatest inventors and innovators throughout history have often credited their ability to create with their capacity for introspection and silence. The most impactful solutions to global problems have come from moments where the mind was allowed to reflect, observe, and draw inspiration from the deep well of knowledge and insight that resides within. In the world of business and leadership, the most successful leaders are those who have learned to cultivate inner silence as a strategic advantage. Innovation often occurs in environments that are quiet and focused, where teams are encouraged to think without interruption and allowed the space to explore new ideas without the pressure of immediate results. Great leaders recognize that true creativity is not born from a constant flurry of activity, but from the ability to step back, reflect, and approach challenges from a calm and composed mindset. These leaders often inspire their teams by modeling this practice of introspection and quiet focus, empowering others to tap into their own wellspring of creativity. Silence is not only about the absence of sound, it is about creating a mental and emotional environment that fosters clarity and allows space for the unexpected. In the quiet, we can fully process our thoughts, untangle our feelings, and make connections that would otherwise remain hidden. The mind becomes a fertile ground for new ideas, free from the clutter of daily distractions. When we embrace this silence, we allow ourselves to go beyond the surface of our thoughts and connect with the deeper, more intuitive parts of ourselves. This process is essential for anyone engaged in creative work, whether they are artists, entrepreneurs, or thinkers. Moreover, silence offers a form of freedom that is essential for authentic creation. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with outside influences, opinions, trends, expectations that shape the way we think and create. The quiet allows us to disconnect from these external pressures and tap into something far more personal and intrinsic. It is through this disconnection that we regain our creative independence. When we silence the noise, we free ourselves from the need to conform, and in doing so, we open ourselves to the unique and original ideas that only we can bring to life. This concept of inner silence being a vital component of creativity is not limited to the traditional forms of art or innovation. It extends to all aspects of life where creative thinking is required. Whether in problem-solving, decision-making, or vision-setting, the same principles apply. When faced with a challenge, the mind that is cluttered with distractions may struggle to find a solution. However, when we allow ourselves to pause, breathe, and enter into a state of calm, the answers often come more naturally. We see things from a fresh perspective, and the solutions appear not as forced attempts, but as a natural extension of our quiet contemplation. The relationship between inner silence and outward expression is symbiotic, each nurturing the other. As we create, we are further immersed in silence, and as we embrace silence, we unlock deeper layers of creativity. This process is not linear but cyclical, where quiet moments feed into greater expression, and each act of creation deepens our connection to the silence that birthed it. In this way, silence becomes not just a tool for inspiration, but the very medium through which creativity flows. The true power of creation lies in our ability to access the depths of our minds, to trust in the quiet moments that precede the act of creating. By giving ourselves permission to sit in silence, we allow our inner thoughts and emotions to emerge, and from this rich inner landscape, we can bring forth our most profound and original creations into the world. Chapter 8: Unveiling Hidden Potential. In a world dominated by constant motion and endless distractions, the true potential of the human mind often remains obscured. The relentless noise of daily life, from external influences to the internal chatter that fills our heads, crowds out the quiet spaces where deeper insights and creative breakthroughs reside. Yet, in silence, a profound transformation occurs. A quiet revelation that brings forth the latent abilities and untapped potential that many never even knew existed. Silence holds the key to unlocking these dormant talents, ideas, and possibilities, offering a gateway to the extraordinary that lies within each individual. When we are still, we allow ourselves to reconnect with the part of us that exists beyond the noise, our authentic self. It is here, in the quiet recesses of the mind, that the deepest insights are born. The thoughts that arise in these moments are not clouded by the pressure of time, competition, or judgment. In silence, we encounter a space where we can reflect deeply, tap into our intuition and access the latent potential that resides beneath the surface. These moments allow us to recognize talents and abilities we may have overlooked or dismissed in the busyness of everyday life. Many individuals go through life unaware of their true capabilities because the constant rush of daily tasks and external expectations prevent them from looking inward. In the silence, there is no need to conform or perform. It is a space free from outside influence. This is where the most profound personal discoveries can be made, where we realize what we are truly capable of, unburdened by the limitations we once believed defined us. Whether it is a hidden artistic ability, a talent for leadership, or an untapped reservoir of creativity, silence reveals these dormant qualities, which often appear only when we are free from the distractions that cloud our perception. One of the most powerful aspects of silence is its ability to amplify our inner voice. In the absence of noise, we can hear the soft whispers of our intuition, which often guides us toward unexplored paths and new possibilities. This intuitive wisdom is not something that can be forced or manipulated. It comes naturally in moments of reflection, when we allow ourselves the time and space to be still and listen. The quiet reveals ideas that we may have previously ignored or even feared to acknowledge. These ideas are often the seeds of innovation, creativity, and personal growth, waiting to be nurtured in the fertile ground of silence. In creative fields, silence is essential for uncovering new possibilities. Artists, writers, musicians, and inventors alike have spoken about their moments of inspiration, which often occur in quiet, uninterrupted spaces. In these moments, the mind is free to wander, to make connections, and to explore new ideas without the pressure to produce. It is here that the most innovative concepts emerge, not from a place of constant effort, but from a space of quiet receptivity. Silence allows the mind to process information more deeply, to connect disparate thoughts, and to arrive at solutions that were previously hidden. For those pursuing personal development, silence is just as transformative. It is often in moments of solitude that we come face to face with the parts of ourselves that we have avoided or suppressed. In the quiet, we are able to confront our fears, insecurities, and doubts, allowing them to be released and replaced by newfound confidence and strength. As we sit with ourselves in silence, we gain clarity about our desires, goals, and potential. The noise of the world can make it difficult to discern our true path, but silence brings into sharp focus what truly matters. It unveils the person we are meant to be, free from external expectations and societal pressures. In relationships, silence serves as a mirror, reflecting back the truth of our connections with others. It is in the stillness that we can hear what is unsaid, the emotions, desires, and needs that lie beneath the surface. Silence allows for deeper understanding and connection, as it creates space for empathy, active listening, and genuine interaction. When we quiet our minds, we can tune into the subtleties of communication that are often drowned out by the noise of everyday life. This heightened awareness strengthens our relationships and deepens our sense of connection to others. The potential that silence uncovers is not limited to the personal realm. It also extends to the world of work and innovation. Many of the greatest breakthroughs in history have occurred in moments of quiet reflection, when the mind is allowed to process information freely and without interruption. Silence offers the space to question assumptions, challenge the status quo, and come up with new ways of thinking. In industries where creativity and problem-solving are key, the ability to step back, embrace silence, and reflect is invaluable. It is in these moments that new ideas flourish and innovative solutions are born. For those who seek to lead, Silence offers a powerful tool for discovering and refining their leadership qualities. A great leader is not defined by the noise of their presence, but by the clarity of their vision and the strength of their character. Leadership often requires moments of introspection, where one can listen to the inner guidance that leads to decisive action. Silence provides the space to develop wisdom, to listen attentively, and to make decisions that are aligned with a higher purpose. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, it is easy to forget that silence is not just an absence of sound, but a presence, a powerful force that reveals hidden potential. By embracing quiet moments, we open ourselves to the possibilities that lie within. In the stillness, we hear the voice of our true selves, uncovering talents, ideas, and paths that were previously obscured by the noise of the world. These moments of quiet reflection are the gateway to the untapped potential within us all, waiting to be revealed when we take the time to listen. Chapter 9. The Silent Revolution. In an era where noise is constant, where demands are relentless, information is overwhelming, and every moment is filled with stimulation, silence has become an overlooked but powerful tool. It is a transformative force that quietly shapes how we approach not only our personal lives, but our work and relationships. In a world preoccupied with the hustle and noise, those who understand and embrace the value of silence can lead lives of deeper purpose, clarity, and connection. This is the silent revolution, a shift in consciousness that allows us to break free from the pressures of the external world and return to the stillness within, where true transformation begins. Silence is often regarded as nothing more than the absence of sound, a void to be filled. But in reality, it is much more than this. It is a space of immense potential, one where growth and change can emerge, often in ways we do not expect. In silence, we allow ourselves to reflect, to reassess, and to make conscious choices about how we live, how we work, and how we relate to others. It is in these quiet moments that the seeds of true transformation are sown. When it comes to work, silence has the capacity to shift the way we approach tasks, decisions, and creativity. In a culture where productivity is often equated with busyness, we are frequently distracted by the constant noise of emails, meetings, and expectations. But silence provides the space to reconnect with our deeper purpose. It is in these moments of solitude that we can reflect on our work with clarity, assess our priorities, and find creative solutions to problems. Silence fosters focus, and in that focus, we discover new ways of working that feel more authentic and aligned with our true purpose. By stepping away from the noise, we give ourselves permission to think deeply, solve problems with intention, and generate ideas that might otherwise be overshadowed by the overwhelming rush of the daily grind. Moreover, silence has the power to reshape how we view success. In the constant pursuit of achievement, we often measure ourselves against external standards, promotions, accolades, recognition. But silence invites us to redefine success on our own terms. It encourages us to look within, to ask ourselves what truly matters, and to align our actions with our inner values. This shift leads to a more fulfilling, sustainable form of success that is not driven by the approval of others, but by the peace that comes from living authentically. In relationships, silence plays a crucial role in deepening our connections with others. In a world where communication is often dominated by speaking and external validation, silence creates a space for listening, not just to words, but to the unspoken emotions and needs beneath them. It is in the silence between words that true understanding takes place. When we quiet our minds and open our hearts, we create room for empathy and genuine connection. In this space, we can hear the subtleties of others' experiences, their joys, their struggles, and their aspirations. Silence allows us to be fully present, not distracted by our own thoughts or judgments, but attuned to the deeper currents of those around us. It fosters intimacy and trust, allowing relationships to grow beyond surface-level interactions. The silent revolution extends beyond our work and relationships into our personal growth. In a world that celebrates constant activity, silence offers the chance to slow down and reconnect with our inner selves. It is in the stillness that we find the courage to face our fears, to confront our doubts, and to shed the layers of conditioning that limit our potential. Silence creates the space for self-reflection, where we can assess our lives without the pressure to perform or conform. In this process of introspection, we come to understand who we truly are, what we value, and what we need to thrive. It is through silence that we gain clarity and insight into our own lives, and it is from this clarity that we make decisions that lead to genuine growth and fulfillment. Furthermore, silence empowers us to cultivate mindfulness, a practice that has profound implications for mental health and well-being. In a culture that often glorifies multitasking and constant stimulation, silence invites us to focus on the present moment, to be fully engaged in whatever we are doing without distraction. This mindfulness enhances our ability to handle stress, regulate our emotions, and maintain a sense of peace amid the chaos of everyday life. The power of silence lies in its ability to ground us in the present, to remind us that we are enough just as we are, and to provide the mental space necessary to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. In times of crisis, silence becomes an even more vital tool for transformation. When faced with uncertainty or adversity, the impulse is often to react, to fill the silence with noise, with frantic thoughts and emotions. But it is in those moments of silence that we can find the clarity to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Silence gives us the pause we need to access our inner wisdom, to make decisions from a place of calm rather than fear. It is in this quiet space that we can tap into our deeper strength, drawing on the resources within us that might otherwise go unnoticed. The silent revolution is not about retreating from the world or avoiding the noise of life. It is about choosing moments of stillness to transform how we engage with the world. It is about stepping away from the noise to reconnect with our deeper selves, to reassess our priorities, and to reimagine our approach to work, relationships, and personal growth. Silence offers the gift of reflection, of clarity, and of inner peace, all of which are necessary for true transformation. As we embrace silence, we begin to see the world with fresh eyes, with a new sense of purpose and understanding. This silent revolution does not demand grand gestures or radical change, but rather a willingness to listen deeply, to pause, and to reconnect with the truth that lies within. Chapter 10. Crafting a Quiet Life. In today's world, where the speed of life accelerates with each passing moment, the idea of crafting a quiet life might seem like a distant dream. We are surrounded by constant stimuli, the ping of notifications, the pressure to keep up with the demands of work, and the relentless flow of information. It often feels as if our lives are ruled by the external world, leaving little room for the stillness that is essential for true creativity and lasting peace. Yet, it is precisely in this noisy environment that the need for quiet moments becomes not just desirable, but necessary. The art of crafting a quiet life lies in finding pockets of peace amid the chaos, allowing us to nourish our minds, sustain our creativity, and preserve our inner tranquility. The concept of a quiet life is not about withdrawing from the world or shutting oneself off from responsibilities. It is about intentional stillness, creating spaces where we can retreat from the constant rush and reconnect with ourselves. These moments of reflection are not just pauses in our busy schedules. They are acts of self-care, acts that honor the necessity of silence in sustaining our mental, emotional, and creative well-being. A quiet life is one where balance is restored, where the mind is given the space to process, reflect, and grow. To craft a quiet life, we must first recognize the power of our environment. The spaces we inhabit greatly influence our state of mind. In a world of clutter, both physical and mental, quiet becomes a rare commodity. A cluttered space breeds distraction and stress, making it harder to concentrate and find peace. Creating an environment that fosters stillness starts with decluttering, not just our homes but also our digital lives. Simplifying the surroundings allows us to invite clarity, opening up space for reflection and creativity. A quiet home, free from the noise of constant interruptions, becomes a sanctuary where the mind can rest, rejuvenate, and focus. This serene environment serves as the foundation for the quiet life, where each day begins and ends with moments of stillness, offering respite from the demands of the outside world. At the heart of this quiet life is the practice of reflection. This does not necessarily mean long hours spent in meditation or solitude, though such practices can be enriching. Reflection is the act of pausing to check in with oneself, to observe how the day has unfolded, and to gently realign with one's deeper purpose. It is through reflection that we gain insight into our thoughts, our emotions, and our experiences. Without it, life can pass by in a blur, leaving us feeling disconnected from our own lives. By making reflection a part of our daily routine, we cultivate a deeper sense of self-awareness, clarity, and perspective. Whether it is through journaling, silent walks, or quiet moments in nature, reflection becomes the gateway to sustained creativity and lasting peace. The benefits of a quiet life extend far beyond just personal peace. In the stillness, we tap into a wellspring of creativity that is often stifled by the noise of everyday life. When the mind is constantly occupied, creativity has nowhere to flourish. Silence creates the space for ideas to emerge, for inspiration to flow, and for solutions to be discovered. This is not a passive state. It is a fertile ground where the seeds of innovation are planted and nurtured. In these moments of calm, we are able to access new perspectives, challenge old assumptions, and see possibilities that were previously obscured. Creativity thrives in silence because it is only in stillness that we can hear our own inner voice, the source of true inspiration. A quiet life also encourages us to slow down and savor the present moment. In a world where we are always chasing the next task or the next achievement, we often forget to appreciate the simple beauty of now. Taking time to pause, to notice the small details in our surroundings, and to be fully present with our experiences deepens our sense of fulfillment. It is in these quiet moments of mindfulness that we rediscover joy, not in the destination, but in the journey itself. Whether it is enjoying a quiet meal, savoring a cup of tea, or simply sitting in silence, these moments help us stay grounded and connected to the richness of life. The quiet life also offers profound benefits for our relationships. In a culture that prizes constant communication and the pressure to be always on, silence can be a powerful tool for connection. It is easy to get lost in the noise of everyday interactions, but in the stillness, we find the space to truly listen, to others, to ourselves, and to what is being left unsaid. Silence in relationships does not create distance. Rather, it nurtures deeper understanding and intimacy. When we are fully present in the silence, we can appreciate the unspoken nuances, the subtle shifts in energy, and the underlying emotions that words cannot capture. In this way, silence enriches communication, allowing relationships to deepen in ways that go beyond words. As we craft a quiet life, it is also important to remember that the quiet moments we seek do not have to be long or extravagant. In fact, it is often the smallest moments of stillness that provide the most profound impact. A 5-minute break in the middle of a busy day, a few minutes of mindful breathing, or a quiet walk in nature can provide the necessary reset to maintain balance. The key is not to wait for extended periods of silence to transform our lives, but to incorporate these moments of stillness into the fabric of our everyday existence. The practice of crafting a quiet life is an ongoing process, one that requires intention, discipline, and an openness to the transformative power of silence. It involves making conscious choices to protect our time, to prioritize reflection, and to seek moments of peace in the midst of the noise. As we embrace this quiet revolution, we begin to see the world differently. We gain access to our deepest creativity, find clarity in our decisions, and experience the peace that arises from living a life in alignment with our truest selves. The quiet life is not an escape from the world. It is a way of engaging with it more fully, more intentionally, and with greater joy. Conclusion. In the stillness, we find the very essence of our creativity, purpose, and potential. It is easy to overlook silence in a world that celebrates constant noise, but true power lies in the moments we allow ourselves to pause, reflect, and simply be. In embracing these moments, we create the conditions for our most authentic selves to emerge, for ideas to take root, and for our inner voices to be heard. The quiet does not ask us to retreat from the world, but invites us to engage with it on a deeper, more meaningful level. It is not in the absence of sound that we find clarity, but in the deliberate space we carve out for reflection, connection, and creativity. Silence becomes the canvas upon which we paint the masterpiece of our lives, one that is uniquely our own, shaped not by the external noise, but by the quiet wisdom within. As you move forward, carry with you the understanding that silence is not just a tool, but a powerful ally in your journey. It is through quiet moments that we unlock the most profound breakthroughs, discover hidden talents, and deepen our relationships with both ourselves and the world around us. It is in silence that we have the freedom to transform, to grow, and to create in ways that would have otherwise remained beyond reach. In a world filled with distractions and demands, the invitation is clear. Return to the quiet. Reconnect with the force that has always been within you, waiting to be discovered. In the silence, there are no limits, only endless possibilities. Let this quiet power guide you toward a life of deeper fulfillment, boundless creativity, and unshakable inner peace.